Hey, it's Christy and Amanda.
Two girls from Saskatchewan, Canada, living the Reiki life while working the 9 to 5.
Hey everyone, welcome in. This is episode 64. Get your pendulums out, get them ready, because we are getting into a really awesome episode talking all about Reiki and using our pendulums and the background of them. Really fun episode today. So if this is your first time here, you are here with myself, Amanda, and Christy. And we always like to kind of give you a little bit of an update on what's happening on our end. So Christy, what's going on?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Whenever we share these updates, something cool happens or some kind of intuition thing or spirit thing. But, since being sick, it's like my crown has just been closed right down. Same with my third eye. And I was wondering why, what is going on here? Because connection was lost. It was gone. It actually kind of scared me. But what I got was my body needed to focus on physical healing. So it can't be off into the other realms doing other things. It had to focus on, clearing out my physical body because it just got trashed. I was cleaning out the pantry today and vacuuming, and I was I needed to sit down after an hour because my energy levels are just not back up yet. So it's when you think of the top 3 chakras, it's I really needed to focus on my heart, my solar, my sacral, and my root right now. So I can see how that kind of the balance, kind of tipped the scales a bit. So, and I'm just being really gentle with myself, clearing the calendar and just, moving through this. And I've never had, a sickness knock me on my butt like that and just rock my emotions. It was freaking wild, but I'm getting to the other side of things and clarity is coming through as to why I went through this. It was just, when you're not living in alignment and things aren't working and you're not really listening to your body or your spirit guides, they're going to stop you in your tracks. And I feel like that is what happened to me. So yeah, so here we are, but I'm slowly getting there, but yeah.
Yeah, you got hit with a freight train this time.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Christy booked a session with me to help move things around. And just because it had been going on for well over 2 weeks, this was wild for you. And, too, we also kind of got the message that your body was going through this massive upgrade right now. And I had another client, she brought in her son, and her son went through something as similar as Christy did. And it was just wild. So I think a lot of people were getting upgrades too, which really took a toll on them physically as well. Just that's kind of what happens. Well, that's what can happen. And it's really important that we just honor ourselves and where we're at and allow that to come through. And I know what you mean when you say that it almost feels like you've lost the connection. But your body, you just can't pick up on those things in the ethers because like you said, you need to focus on what's happening here in the ground and your physical self. So good for you for just, and obviously knowing, of course, all that connection you have isn't lost. It's giving you a break in a way, right?
Yeah, a big break. And it makes you almost feel it, or I'm trying not to look at it as a weakness. This is a gift, something is moving through, and to come on the other side of things, there's going to be something that will come through. So yeah, just uncomfortable, but moving through it. So if anybody else out there is going through something, just know it's, end of the year, something's getting cleaned out. Just roll with it and don't suppress anything. Just let things happen.
Absolutely. Great advice. And I'm sure tons of people can relate to this right now, especially if you have kids. The kids are bringing home everything right now, mine included. So yeah, not unfamiliar with getting the sickness, although I didn't get it nearly as hard as you, thank God. Yeah. So you want to hear my good story that I didn't tell you yet?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm going to hear this live.
So I, of course, asked my client if I could share this on the podcast because she listens to the podcast, and I just thought it was so interesting. So you know how, Christy, you and I, we do like deeper work in the chakras, and we kind of get to the root of like why things maybe are the way they are and try to heal it from the inside out. And so with my client, she had this little bit of like a growth, almost like a pimple thing that was growing on her neck. And when she went to see like medical, like a nurse or doctor about it, they kind of like flicked it or they touched it. I don't even know. I shouldn't say flicked it, but they touched it and it got like super angry and like grew, and it went kind of out of control. And she was like, now it's like 10 times worse than what it was. So we ended up going in to the pimple on her neck energetically and figuring out, okay, well, what is the emotion in here that is causing the issue with the growth? And right away, she saw a face of someone and went and did the deeper inner work and did the emotional releasing that came with that, called in like the archangels for support. And we really did that almost like deeper inner work. And I checked in on her today, actually, because I was like, hey, I need an update on how that growth is going. And her husband is like, it's almost like a flattened bruise now.
Oh,
Like it's like almost like gone. She did also have to have a major surgery, but they didn't get to the growth. But she said now that like everything is almost like out of the body, it's crazy. It just like shriveled down to nothing.
wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Holy cow.
So, like, who knew? But too, like when you have things like that, like little growths or like little things, like you can tune into your body and see, okay, why is my body creating this, right? And you can get to the root of it and you can heal it out. It's so interesting.
That is super interesting. Yeah, and the physical body is so freaking smart. It will find a way to, express it, because when you suppress things, they got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like deep rooted stuff that, she just had to deal with. And it was so interesting and when I was in the session, I thought, I'm like tuning into it and I was like, I think we can go in here. It was just one of those, like, that spirit guide me. Like, I'd never done this before, but I've done something similar, right? We've got into the heart and things like that. And yeah, I thought that was super neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not go in? That is so fascinating. And just to think, like, if she or if the doctor or whatever just, lanced it off or something, she wouldn't have got that healing. And I'm thinking that it would grow back.
Yeah.
Until you got to that root cause. It's so important to get to that root cause. Like, we do things on the surface, and because going to the root is uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable right now, the things that I'm going through, but I know I have to. But what? Another really interesting thing is, not everybody in their lifetime wants to go that deep and do the deep healing. And that's something that I learned, and I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. I was like, what do you mean somebody doesn't want to heal things and go visit things and feel better? It's like, that might not be their journey in this lifetime. Some people just don't want to do that. They just kind of want to cruise through life and not do those, the root healings. So yeah, but kudos to your client for going in and getting it done.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
On every level. I hope you're listening to this. She's amazing. So super cool. And some people too just aren't ready, or there's, tons of other reasons, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like you too. I'm like, let's get it off. Yeah. Let's dig right that out. So, so anyways, that was my interesting thing I did this last little while.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. I like these live updates too,
Yeah, absolutely. Astrology.
Yeah.
For the last half of December, we got a new moon in Sagittarius. So again, Sagittarius coming in on the 19th, I said. So this new moon really invites like new beginnings, obviously, and it's that new moon to get us set up for the year to come. So it's also the Temperance card in the tarot deck, I believe. Now I'm second guessing that, but I believe it is. Yes, it is. So so a lot about healing too, and finding balance too, even balance in our spiritual life and our like earthly life. That's funny. I'm probably pulling this off of you, Christy, but that's like something that is coming through really strong as I talk about this. So it's funny, like when we get on the spiritual journey, okay, side note here, when we get on a spiritual journey, we so almost want to ditch what's happening in like our real life and we just want to live in the ethers, but that's not why we came here.
Right.
Yes, it's good to like dive into all the literature and everything else, but you're still having a human experience where there's supposed to be a ton of growth happening here. You can't forget that. And there's still stuff you need to do on this earthly plane. So as much as we want to just like forego this existence and just dive in and maybe sit on a mountain and meditate all day, that's not really realistic. You got to find that good balance. So, use that Scorpio new moon to help you find that good healing balance too, even within yourself, and see kind of planning ahead too, all about planting seeds. So how do you want this new year coming up to look? And how do you want to merge, your new spiritual self with your grounded earthly self too? So kind of feel into that energy.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like you channeled that. That just came right through.
Yeah, I was not prepared to say that at all. That's funny.
I love that though. Yeah, that message needed to come through. And yeah, I can totally relate to that. Just, taking care of the earthly being. That's why we're here. Of course, it's fun to connect and everything, but it's like we can't get lost up there. We also need to come back down to earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're listening to the podcast on the release day of December 15th, tonight we have our Reiki Circle, our last one of the year at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the link to sign up is in our bio on Instagram. And yeah, I really hope everyone can come out and we can just close out the year and just see how everyone's year has been and bring some questions to the table. And we just kind of go with the flow and see what happens.
Yeah, it's a great time. Highly recommend.
Yes. 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars. And make sure you leave that 5 stars.
Yes, please.
Instagram. I guess not Instagram. Well, anywhere you want to. Anywhere that will let you. So let that in.
That does help us out a lot. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the episode.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one.
Me too.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about pendulums, and then we're going to talk about like how we weave that into Reiki, what they are, how they work, and how we use them. So we both really love working with pendulums, and it's not like they are used to predict your future. We use it for like a tool of clarity, intuition, and like I guess sometimes understanding energy. When you first start out working with the chakras, it can be a really good tool. So we're going to share our own experiences and talk about, the pendulum. So what exactly is a pendulum, I guess? Let's start there.
Yes, let's start there. And then we'll kind of talk about how, we'll get into the history of stuff, but then we'll talk about how Christy and I kind of came across our own pendulums. So a pendulum is literally just an object with weight on a string or a chain. So this could be a crystal, a piece of metal or wood, anything weighted enough to swing freely. It's funny, as I'm like talking about this, I grabbed my pendulum. Yeah. I'm sure we all are just like looking at them now. And the magic of the pendulum is that it responds to subtle energy. So it picks up on those micro movements in your nervous system. So movements so small, you're not even consciously aware of them. It's like a translator between your intuition and physical world. So when your body knows something, the pendulum shows you the answer in the way it moves. And then, of course, you're going to connect into your pendulum and you're going to ask the pendulum to show me yes, show me no. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be different for everybody. So you kind of have to connect in and figure that out with your own pendulum.
Yep. That's exactly right. Because you have to build that relationship with that pendulum. That's like when I first really dove into the pendulums, that is through my Akashic teaching through Kayla. And yeah, I remember her saying it's like training a puppy. You need to direct them where to go. They just can't roam free. It's like you need to spend time with it, get to know it, you get to train it. So yeah, I can share more of that as we go on here. But I just wanted to share a little bit about the history because I found this fascinating when we were doing our research for this episode. because pendulums have been used like forever. So like literally thousands of years, ancient civilizations used forms of dowsing to find water, minerals, or lost items. And my dad actually, he still will do, it's like witching for water with sticks. And I've watched him do it, and it's really cool, like, to find where the well is and everything like that. And yeah, I guess like in Europe, people use pendulums to locate underground water sources. So yeah, just like what my dad was doing, and farmers still do it to this day. And, it's interesting, like for just like the average person to just believe in witching for water is just kind of cool when you think about it. And, yeah, in the early 1900s, there was also something called I don't know how to say this, radiesthesia? You know how to say that word? I'm so bad at pronouncing things. But it's where doctors and healers would use pendulums to sense energy and imbalances in the body. So that was one of the earliest bridges between pendulums and healing work. So that's really fascinating that doctors would even, go to a pendulum and being drawn to that. And it's just, we've gotten so far away from that when you think of it. In 1900s, that's not even that long ago. Well, it is and it isn't, I guess. Yeah, but, and so now pendulums have become like a staple in metaphysical and energy healing. So whenever you go into a crystal shop, I've always seen pendulums. Like they're everywhere. And yeah, they're just a really good tool when you're starting out. And there's just so many different avenues you can use pendulums for. So I find it to be a great tool myself.
Yeah, and it's funny actually. So I don't use my pendulum. I don't use it as much as I think you do, Christy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you work a lot with your pendulum, especially like when you went into the Akashics. That was a really big part, doing that kind of work. And I think it's really fun to use a pendulum when people are starting out. And so I teach my Reiki students how to like scan their chakras and by using their hands. But if you're ever unsure and maybe your hands aren't really giving you a good read when you go in to scan that area, you can use it. You can use your pendulum to help. So just like there's so many fun things that you can do, and it is good to connect in, like Christy said, and to train it like a puppy. That's such a good way to almost think about it, actually, because you need to put that work in like you would a dog and develop that relationship. So I loved all of that. But let's talk about the different types of pendulums and why the material matters. So this was super interesting. So people don't realize that like the materials and everything actually make a difference. So we have our basic one that I think probably a lot of us have, which is a crystal pendulum. I know I only have one, and that's the one I have. Christy, is that what you have too? Is a crystal at the end?
Yeah. I think I've only worked with crystals. Yeah.
You have more than one? How many do you have?
I think I have 3 or 4.
Oh.
I was going to make them and sell them. So I remember I bought a few and then I just never sold them because like the authentic crystal is really expensive. So, you'd have to charge a certain amount to make, and it just wasn't worth it for a business type. So I did order a few. So yeah.
Yeah. And you want that good quality crystal. Like,
yeah.
I would be weary of ordering from like wish.com or even Temu. I'm so sorry to crap on those sites. And I'm sure hopefully you've had good luck if you have, but just like check your crystals if you can. Make sure they're authentic. Okay. So crystals carry their own energetic frequency. So the type of crystal that you choose for the end of your pendulum obviously matters. So a clear quartz pendulum feels totally different from an amethyst or a rose quartz. So a quartz is amplifying, amethyst is intuitive, and rose quartz is a softer, heart-centered energy. So we can touch on other types of crystals too. Christy, you have a red jasper one, if you want to talk about that one. The one I have is hematite. No, that's a lie. I always get hematite and howlite mixed up. This is howlite. Yes, I don't know why, just because they're both H's. It's howlite. Howlite because it's like white and black and gray.
Yes.
Hematite is a darker stone. Yes. So funny. Yes, mine is howlite, which I actually really like because it's a really relaxed energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like it's a good cleanser too. I don't know. This is one I was drawn to when I saw it and I picked it out. Not even honestly really paying much attention to the crystal. Honestly, I was just like, yeah, this one. That was kind of it. There wasn't some beautiful, mystical experience, unfortunately, when I grabbed this one, but I do really like it and it responds to me. So, I mean, that's a good sign.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's so important, to connect with that crystal. And, it's funny. I love amethyst. And that's one of my main crystals that I've worked with from day one, but I have a pendulum that is amethyst and I do not like it at all. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just, I can't connect with it. And then I have a clear quartz one. I remember I was in Moose Jaw and I just had to have this clear quartz pendulum. I was so excited to work with it, but it's too crazy. The energy's too much. So this red jasper one, which isn't the prettiest out of all of mine, but Troy gave that one to me for Christmas years ago. And I remember it sat in the bag and I never looked at it. And then all of a sudden I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to try this one out. And that is my tried and true go-to. And I find it I guess really grounding too, right? Because it's red and you think of the root. And I just really, really love that one. And I can't see myself, straying to find another one right at this moment. And so when you are shopping for one, just see where your energy goes and what draws you in. And it's funny. This reminds me of a story. My dad, so he's a woodworker and he made this one woman that has a shop. It was like a paint store. Then she also had gift shops in there. So, and then she got into the crystals and she had a bunch of pendulums and she needed a rack for them. So my dad made this really cool wood rack where the pendulums would hang. And the one lady in the store said she would watch those pendulums and they'd all dance by themselves and it freaked her out. She's like, I don't want anything to do with any of this. And I just thought it was so funny because it's just in a way, the pendulums almost have a mind of their own. And that's something that you need to connect with. So I know some people think that they're really witchy, but I don't feel like they are. I guess it depends what you're using it for and what your intent is behind it. But I just really enjoy working with one and getting an answer quickly. And that also brings me to sorry, I'm rambling, but another story was I used to take my necklace off and use that as a pendulum years ago. And when my sister-in-law was pregnant, I was like, well, let's see if it's a girl or boy. Because, when you hold it over the stomach, that was one of the oldest things that you would do at baby showers. I remember when I was little. And it said it was a girl. And of course, she did have a girl. And I remember my brother sitting there and he goes back and forth. He likes his stuff and then he doesn't. He shuts on and off. And he was just saying that was witchcraft and blah, blah, blah. And I was moving it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So it just really depends. Do what's right for you and what feels right in your heart, I guess, is always my advice. But yeah.
Was this before or after your brother took Reiki level 1?
I want to say, well, you know what? He went for Reiki level 1 when Ashley was pregnant. So it would have been right around that same time. But, he goes back and forth. It's just, he believes in things and all of a sudden he doesn't. And yeah.
That's right. I just feel like he has a good connection with spirit and things like that. It's funny to hear that. I think it's hilarious. I'm like, what? But and you're right. So there we go. Yes, that is an old school thing about people used to always checking the gender, right, of the baby. Yeah, using a necklace. And actually that gets into the next kind of pendulum. So there are metal pendulums. So especially if they're made with brass or copper, are really responsive. They're neutral, direct, and often the easiest for beginners because the movement is so clear. So that's interesting. So again, it can be, right? It can be like a necklace. So it has a chain or something that's a string, and then it has a metal object at the bottom for the weight. So again, that totally works. That's a pendulum.
Yeah, and then also a wood pendulum. And this is funny because talking about my dad again, I wanted him to make me wood pendulums on his wood lathe. I just never got around to it because I'm of course always so connected to wood, because of the birch soul and the big history on trees and yada yada. But wood carries like a softer, grounded energy, and it doesn't absorb as much as crystal. So it's great for people that maybe are sensitive or who get overstimulated. And we actually talked about pendulums in our last Reiki circle, and lots of people had questions about them, and people shared their experience. And one person in the circle shared about how their Reiki master recommended a wood one, and to tune into that energy of the wood one, she wore it over her heart. So I thought that was really cool. So it's like tuning into your energy field. Because I remember when I first bought an Oracle deck, they told me to sleep with it beside my bed just to be in my energy field. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I think I did it once. I don't know if it made a difference, but I really love this hanging it over your heart. I really love that idea.
You did it one time. You're like, I don't know if it made a difference. That's so funny. No, I think the idea is, right? Even people who carry crystals and stuff in their bra, they're getting the crystals attuned to their energy field. Mm-hmm. So yes, I actually really like the idea of it being on like kind of like a necklace like that. And you know what I was going to say about your red jasper one? That is a grounding energy, right? Jasper is a very grounding stone. And I also wonder too, since you're an earth sign, if that also plays into why you feel so connected to that earth element as well.
Yeah.
Of that crystal.
That would make sense.
But it came to me. I was like, I wonder if that also, just because you are so drawn to trees and the earth and things like that.
Yeah.
You'd be very earthy. So it's funny that one. And I think Megan was talking about it on a Mount Nora Crystals episode about how the one woman just could not do amethyst. It was just too much of a strong vibration for her.
Yeah.
So that also could be a thing too, right? Some stones just don't really resonate with us as much as other ones do. So of course you would find that out. But I actually really like the idea of wood. Yes. And the natural grounding energy that is coming in through. So I actually find that would be a really interesting pendulum as well, something I'd be interested to. And we're going to talk about the shapes and the styles. So the first one is that shapes actually matter, y'all. So when you come to look at your pendulum, so a point or a cone is meaning that it's very precise. So it's going to give you a pretty spot on answer. A sphere is usually softer or slower. And a Merkaba, so if people who don't know what a Merkaba is, it's like what it would be. Is it a 6-pointed kind of a star? Or
I always forget. Was there 13? I thought there was like a lot of points. I should know this.
It's like a lot of points. I know, me too. But it's one of those I always want to say like pointy like rocket ships. I always think of a Merkaba. But it's really activating and really spiritual. So again, so even the chain length as well. So the shorter chain gives you a sharper, quicker answer, and the longer chains can actually create slower, deeper swings. So that also can matter too if you are wanting to scan your chakras and you wanted to see how open they are, and maybe you're waiting for the pendulum to swing in kind of a circle to see like how wide it's going to swing. You would probably want something that is a little longer so you can have more gauge on how open your chakras are. And why does this matter? It's because you're picking up on a frequency. So certain frequencies support different types of work. So again, right, if you're scanning your chakras, maybe you'd want something a little bit longer. If you're doing like Akashic work, and I know there's a lot of like yes, no, and verifying things as an information, maybe you do want one that's a shorter, quicker, right to the point answer, right? So yeah, a lot of things you can do there.
Yeah, and I didn't know that the shape mattered, and with the one that I work with, I don't know how long the chain is, maybe like 8 inches, but sometimes I'll fold it in half. And then I get those answers quicker. So yeah, that's sometimes nice to use. Cause when I am in the Akashics, I'm asking like series of questions, and sometimes you don't have time to sit there and wait for it to like slowly start turning. It's like, no, like let's keep going here. I need a quicker answer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've also quickly just mentioned, so when I'm using my pendulum, I try to like really steady my elbow. Either I'm resting my elbow on a flat surface because I am trying my darndest not to influence the pendulum myself. So especially if I'm asking a question for myself, we can kind of get involved in like subtly being like, this cannot be a no. So then I'm like, I always want to make sure I'm not subconsciously swinging my pendulum in a way where I'm getting the answer that I know I want, but I'm trying to be non-biased. So I really try to keep like my forearm, my hand as steady as possible and like center it. And then before I go in and ask my question. So I'm trying to really start neutral. I don't know if anyone else has any tips for that, but I do almost find it easier to get someone else, like to ask a question for someone else when you're not invested in the results. So then it's not playing into like how you want the answer to go. That is my one beef with pendulums as well, is that I feel like it can be a little dicey that way.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. If you really, really want an answer, I feel like, but you deep down know it's a no, but then maybe you'll get that yes. And yeah, I was faced with a decision. Oh, that was quite a while ago, where it was like, stay in this term position or take the safe permanent one. And I kept asking my pendulum. I was like, and it wouldn't give me an answer. What it would do, it would stay there and it would just shake. And it was just like, and I was like, well, is that a maybe? Is that like, what is this? But it didn't want to give me the answer. And I kept asking it, like, that day I just kept, and I was just like, man, like that's so rude. Like, just leave it alone. Sometimes these answers aren't, like big life-changing answers. I find, I don't know if I would ask the pendulum. Would you?
You know what? I probably would for fun.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, like, because I can use my hands as a pendulum, so I can ask yes or no. I can put my arms up almost like at 90 degrees on either side of me, and I can see which one will dip down as a yes or a no. And so I do sometimes ask that, actually, yeah.
Just to see, yeah, just for fun. It's like, I'm not gonna, ask my pendulum if I should quit my job and it gives me a yes and then I quit the next day. Like, of course, there's still reasoning behind it, but yeah, it's really interesting. It's like, you can't just pick up the pendulum one day and just ask it like a crazy question like that. And that's what I was doing. I never built my relationship with my pendulum at that point. So, yeah.
And, it's another thing I actually want to touch on too, is if you are asking your pendulum a question and like, say you want like, hey, should I do this kind of a question? And the pendulum gives you the answer and then your gut says something else. You're like, no, that's called muscle testing. You need to honor that feeling. Yeah. Or if you're like, should I buy the dress? And it gives you a no. And then all of a sudden you're like, no, but I really wanted that dress. And I know like 4 different things that I could wear it to. And then it's like, okay, you know what? That's the answer. Yeah. The fact that you didn't agree with the pendulum, that is totally the answer to your gut. Your body is telling you something else as well. Your body can act as a pendulum. So if your body is leaning in and really likes it, that's a yes. If it's all of a sudden you find yourself kind of backing up, it's like, ooh, get away. Like that's the no. So you can also muscle test things too. This isn't a tried or true. Like you need to use your own discernment too.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just with anything else, right? Just getting really clear in your own energy and knowing your own body is just, because I remember like times I would ask it and I'd get a yes, and then I'd ask it again and I'd get a no. And then at that point, it was just like, it was kind of like, there is no wrong decision here. Like you can go either way. It's going to be a different experience either way. And yeah, it's just, it's a fun tool though. I think if you come in with it with like a lightheartedness and an intention behind it, I find it is a great tool that way.
What's also fun is that Christy and I have both asked our pendulum different questions. we asked them the same questions in regards to a situation we were facing,
Oh,
and we
right.
both got different answers. So
Yeah.
that was also interesting. So it's like, how much of our energy were we putting into the answer that we wanted, you know? So
Yes.
also something to keep in mind.
Yes, I do
Also, we
remember
were
that.
invested. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
invested in those results. It wasn't like an unbiased thing either, though. So
that's
keep
right.
that in
And
mind.
I was thinking, I think Rhonda, I wonder if she taught me this. Like, say I was holding the pendulum and you were asking the questions, and then it would move. But then in a way, it's like, but I'm not, I guess I would be tuned into your energy if I was doing a reading. So maybe I could get clear answers that way. Because I remember Troy and we would do that. I remember on a road trip, but he was asking it and I was holding it, and we are just like testing it and seeing what happens. And, actually, when I think about those questions he asked, a lot of that did come true.
Oh, buddy, play
Yeah.
around with it though. You are connected into that energy if you're doing a reading for someone.
Yeah.
And if you're pulling cards and you just like you're second guessing yourself, you can always hang it over the cards and get that confirmation too
Yeah. Yeah. I
as a
know
backup.
Rhonda, she uses her pendulum to pick the deck of cards because she's got so many different decks, and she'll hold it over and she'll be like, yes, no, yes, no. So like that's kind of a neat way. Or even if I've done it before where I spread my cards out on the floor, like like a deck of cards, you spread them straight out, and then I hold my pendulum and it'll stop at what card I should pull. I thought that's kind of
Yeah,
a fun way to play with it too.
that is fun. There's so many different things you can do for your pendulum and like play around with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best way to do it. So how are pendulums used in Reiki? We should talk about that, of course. So
Of
when
course.
I think when I first used it, I scanned over the chakras to see if they were like closed or open, or like how they were vibrating, I guess. And then after I did my Reiki, I went in and I checked them again to see like if the energy shifted. And I thought that was really cool. So write down your answers too. Cause you're like, oh, I'll remember this, but no, I think like crown, okay, spun this way, and just kind of play around with it. So yeah, checking the chakras before or after. And then you can like you can find your own, like what is like guide. So if it spins in a circle really fast, like maybe that chakra is overactive, or maybe if it doesn't move at all, maybe there's something going on there that we need to go and help. It can also reveal if there's like any emotional energy stuck, or locate chords. I've never done that before with the pendulum, but that's kind of neat, to go over the body and see where the cord is attached. Because, when I cut cords, I sometimes don't care where the location is, but I guess sometimes that would be beneficial. So say if the cord was in the heart, then you would know, okay, well, maybe it's somebody from a past relationship. Or if the cord is like in the soul, or maybe it has something to do with your boss. So I guess there is some valid or like good thing to know where that cord is. So yeah, what have you used this in Reiki before?
You know what? Only time that I've really used my pendulum during Reiki is to check the chakras. So again, I was only first introduced to using a pendulum with Reiki when I met with Janessa there. So we interviewed her on the podcast. And of course, I go there for a Reiki with massage, and she's sitting in the chair across from me. I'm not even laying down, and she's literally using the pendulum and scanning where my chakras are at. And I thought, what the hell is she doing? I was like, well, this is neat. And she's like, okay, let's just check where you're at. And hers would swing like in an open circle to tell me how open. And it was funny. She'd get to like, I don't know, let's say my heart that day. And it'd be like, ooh, just like this little circle. And then she'd get maybe to my crown and it would be like woof, woof, like just a big one. So it was so funny to see the difference and how she would just be so quick about it, actually. But I find that's really funny. So I was actually playing around with this today. So how I teach, right, that I can scan my own chakra to see where they're at. So I was scanning myself, Christy, and then I was using the pendulum to fact check it to see what we were on board with, right? Or to see, okay, how does my pendulum react to that space? So what I'm doing is I'm thinking about my crown chakra and I'm giving it like, I'm kind of giving my pendulum an order because I don't want to hold my pendulum above my crown because then I can't really see. Like I could probably gauge what's happening up there, but I want to see. So I'm holding it in front of me and I'm like, okay, how is my crown chakra? So I'm giving it a command or I'm asking it a question and then I'm waiting for it to open. And actually, this thing was pretty on point.
Oh.
So like my crown was like pretty on point, like where, like how it was opening to where my hand was out. So like, okay, even like the one, my third eye was super open today, and that actually spun pretty good. And then my throat was like, meh, and then the pendulum was kind of the same way. So I thought that was actually really interesting. And then I tried to give myself self Reiki. I didn't try. I did give myself self Reiki. And then I went to scan it again with my pendulum, and there was a difference. It was a lot more open, like with both, with my hand and the pendulum as well. So I thought that was really interesting. And two, what you said about locating chords, like you can just be like, okay, pendulum, please tell me where the chords are in the body.
Yeah.
And you can take your pendulum, start at the crown, and just slowly, of course, you can even stop, see if you get a reaction, move to the next chakra, stop, wait to see if the pendulum starts moving, and just go that way. And then obviously if it gives you like a big spin or a big up and down or a side to side, whatever is your go-to there, then you'll know, okay, this is where. And then if you can connect, you would have to connect in with that, of course, and do the preparation to remove it. But yeah, I would definitely use it in that sense. There was one more thing. Oh yeah. Two, and also, so it's different when I'm asking a yes or a no, as opposed to me scanning my chakras. So when I'm scanning them, they kind of do that, like the big circle, like movement. But when I'm asking a yes, mine will go like vertical up and down. And then my no is like a side to side, horizontal. So that's also different. So, right, like different things. Like my yes is usually like a back and forth, and then my no is a side to side. But when I'm doing my chakras, it actually spins in like a circular motion. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting because my no is a circle. Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, sometimes like I'll get that thing swinging so fast that it's like it's vertical and it's just swinging. It's just crazy how fast it will go. And I was like, oh, that's a hard no. Okay, I'll listen to that. But
yeah, that's an angry no.
Yes, yeah. Clear no. But I love what you did with your own self Reiki, and just that is such a good place to start practicing on yourself and just like just start at the heart and just see how your heart feels and then check it with the pendulum. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And you're right, the heart would be a good one because you can like line that up with your body.
Yeah.
Right? Especially like your sacral, your solar plexus, your root, of course. Yeah, that would be good just to kind of start and feel that out.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And I'm looking at my plant right now and I was thinking, I wonder if I could ask my plant if I need to water it. Because sometimes I overwater, underwater. So I was like, maybe I'm going to try that out. Ask my plant.
Yeah. Using your pendulum?
Yeah.
See what it says? Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Because, yeah, you can, and hovering it over the plant, it's like, okay, go into the plant's aura.
Yeah.
See what the plant needs. Yeah. Let the plant move the pendulum. I love that.
Yeah. Do you like this spot? Is it too much sun? Do you need fertilizer? Yeah. It's like all these different things. And it's like now my plant is like moving. I think it kind of likes that. So funny. I have this like neon pothos. It's massive. And I just love this plant. I'm so scared.
So funny. I can just see you in the house now with your pendulum just it's going through the house. Oh man, that's
just
so
checking
funny.
things. I remember there was one book I read where she took her pendulum to the grocery store to pick out her produce.
Oh, interesting. What does my body need today?
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine the looks you would get just standing there.
Man, you'd be there for hours. Hours. But this really kind of goes into like a different type of story. I'm really going to digress here for a second. So there comes a point where it's like, when do you not allow your own intuition to flow through and you become reliant on things like this?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so here's a funny, unrelated, kind of related story. So I went shopping with my friend who needs to take a photo of everything she tries on and upload it to ChatGPT and ask for their approval before she'll buy it. You guys, I am pregnant. I can't buy anything right now. I don't fit into normal clothes. The annoyance factor was through the roof. It took shopping 800 times longer than it should have. And I thought, I cannot believe this. Like, what? But this is the thing now. And this is kind of the society. So a part of me now, thinking about that horrendous story, I hope that's not you. And we still need to listen to our own intuition. That's how we grow it. But I do like the idea of like using it as a fact checker, as a backup, as a like, oh, hey, I think I got this. Let me just check to see if I was right. And then you slowly break away from doing that, right? Yeah, I went on a small rant. Obviously, I just needed to get it's still bothering me. That was like a month ago.
I would have been annoyed too. Oh, it's like we need to start thinking for ourselves. Like, when do we give away our power to, to that Chat GPT? Like, there is some benefits to using it, of course, 100%. But when it starts making our own decisions for us, it's like, then we're giving our power away. And that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah. Dress yourself in the morning. I mean, if you want to use your pendulum to go over your wardrobe, yes, by all means, it is kind of fun. But at the end of the day, wear what you want to wear. Be like, what do I feel like wearing today?
Yeah.
But you could also rotate it through your shirts and just see which one gives a reaction. That would be funny, actually. I might try this the next day.
Just see what kind of outfit you end up with.
See what me thinks and what the pendulum thinks.
Yeah.
And see where I end up going. Like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, there's like literally everything you could test the pendulum on. And that also brings me back to like a conversation that I had with someone about muscle testing, because she uses a lot of muscle testing, like with like the finger, like you make a chain with your fingers and then it like breaks free. And then she uses some other muscle testing, and she's kind of got to the point where she doesn't even need to do that. And the whole spiritual journey and all these different tools that we use, the oracle cards, the crystals, the tuning forks, the pendulum, it's like they're a guiding tool. But my main goal at the end of the day is to become a wise woman where I'm the oracle. I do not need any tools. That is my goal. So of course, like, we are sharing our own experiences and these tools because they are fun to start with on your own journey, because with your intention behind it, you're learning about your own self. But at the end of the day, the goal is to become the oracle yourself.
Amen. I was giving her like a woo-hoo with my arms. You guys couldn't see when she was saying that. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
And it's great tools. I love them while I'm on my journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. I want to be the wise woman who just sits there and doesn't need anything.
Yeah, just like tunes in with my hand on my chin and just be like, and then just spit some words of wisdom out. Like, I want to be that wise auntie, where the kids come to me for these answers, and I'm just gonna just hold so much wisdom with my gray hair.
Yeah. Stroking your chin whiskers.
Yes, I actually do have one little whisker there.
Yes.
Damn chin hairs. Yeah.
Let's talk about some misconceptions that people have maybe about pendulums. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the first thing is, does the pendulum move on its own? Well, the answer is actually no. It's responding to your intuition, your subconscious knowing, and the energy actually in the room. So it's funny how we were talking about like how I don't want to like subconsciously move it, but the energy too in the room can actually play quite the response to it. So you got to kind of really go in neutral.
Yeah, and the second one is you don't need to be a psychic to use one. So anyone can learn, right? It's not a talent. It's all about practice and spending time with it. So like train that puppy, right? You need to tune into that energy of that pendulum. You know, when you get like an oracle deck, it's not like you're just going to open that deck and you're going to get all this guidance right away and know what the cards mean. It's like you need to sit with it and learn about it. And it's just like, you know, playing around with it and being like, is my name Frank? And see if it gets like a yes or a no, like just asking it ridiculous questions just to build that relationship.
Mm-hmm. And then we kind of already touched on this, but like pendulum always gives me accurate and correct answers. The answer is no. So again, if you're emotional, you're tired, or you're really attached to the outcome, there are possibilities that you could influence the swing.
Mm-hmm.
So just be mindful of that. You're not going to make high stake choices based on which way the pendulum swings. It's supposed to be a guide, which you, again, do your homework, you muscle test, you listen to your own intuition, of course, with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So grounding, intention, and neutrality are really essential here.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, the energy in the room, that's a big one because I always clear my space before, well, of course, before I go in the Koshiks and use my pendulum. But yeah, and then another thing I wanted to mention is, you know, we also have to be like mindful about like asking questions about people that, you know, maybe they don't have, you're kind of being snoopy. I feel like when you do that, you're going to be mirrored back with answers that aren't correct. Like you're gonna, like, I feel like if your intention is mirrored back to you. So if you're going in being snoopy about something, you're not going to get a clear answer. So I feel like the pendulum is just between you and you, unless somebody gives you permission to ask a question. So just, yeah, always ethics behind it.
Very good. Yeah. And what was that thing you said about clearing your pendulum? Do you clear yours quite often? I don't think I ever do.
You know, the only time when I'm clearing my room with my tuning fork, I just like kind of wave it over the pendulum. That's, or I'll lay it on the selenite once in a while. But other than that, yeah.
Like it is a crystal. It probably should get cleared now that I'm thinking about it. I know mine does get that indirect clearing, like when I'm clearing my space in the room. It's in there too, but I'm not very intentional about placing it on my selenite, probably because I don't use it a lot for other people. It's mainly for myself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I really probably should.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And charging it, of course. You can always charge it in the full moon.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's just get into some more tips. I feel like I think we've covered a lot of these, but, when you're picking out your pendulum, really just tune into that energy. Like when you go in there, which one catches your eye at first? And it's like, put it in your hand and maybe hold it to your heart and just see how it feels, or however you use your intuition to pick things. I think that is really a good guiding post, I guess you could say. Like what would you advise for people?
Yeah, no, exactly that. I highly recommend this as an in-person purchase.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I've gotten cards online and things like that, like the original Raider White's tarot deck. It's like, I knew I always wanted that original deck. I didn't have to put my hand over top of it to see if I got a reaction or a tingle or a pull towards it. I just knew I wanted that deck. But a pendulum, yeah, I definitely think you need to, like you said, hold it, hover your hand above it, see if something is feeling drawn to you. I can place my hands over things and just, it'll move, my hands will move the energy, and I will go just whichever one I need. And that's a really fun thing. But you definitely, there's a lot of factors into it, right? It's the energy of it. It's what does your eye catch you to? And I know, like, sometimes, like, even if I go to pick out a bottle of wine, I can barely be persuaded by the label and what that looks like. Well, it's no different if I like the color and the design of a crystal too. Mm-hmm. And I must like it for a reason, right? So I can just trust that and go with it. And then if it doesn't feel good, I'll put it back, obviously, try again. But I like that, what you said too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are drawn to the crystal pendulums in the crystal shops, the metaphysical stores. But, because I haven't really come across too many wood ones or metal ones along my
No,
journey. Yeah. I might get my
no, I have,
dad
but
to make
not.
me a wood one just
Yeah,
for
you should.
fun. Yeah.
Hello, Christmas present, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to play around with it. It'd be cool to do like a walnut or some kind of wood I just want to see because it's not very weighted compared to like the crystal or the metal, just to see what it does. But yeah, and then once you get that crystal home, I think it's important to cleanse it, or whatever pendulum you choose, of course. However you want to cleanse it, with Reiki or your selenite. Yeah, whatever you feel called to. I feel like that's an important step to do.
Yeah. And then you want to, ask it the basic things like show me yes, show me no, show me the neutral. And again, like my yes is different than Christie's. Like
Mm-hmm.
her yes is like a woo, and mine's like an up and down. It's so different. And is that the pendulum? Is that me? I don't know. But that's definitely going to be specific to you and special to you. So make sure you're establishing that. Don't go by what your friend has. It's
Yeah.
going to be different.
That's so true. And have you ever seen those pendulum? I don't know, it's like a map. It's like a circle and it has like yes, no, and then there can be numbers or letters, like a whole thing that you
So
can
it's
get
like
into.
so it's like an Ouija board.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's like a
Crazy.
circle and then there's different things. I remember I was practicing with one lady and we were trying to find a lost pet, and she got out her like pendulum board. And it was really interesting.
Mhm.
And so I wonder, I never knew if they found that pet, but when I tuned into the pet was living its best life with this older couple. They took in the pet and it was safe and sound. That's the message that I got. And I always think, like, did that pet come home? What happened to that pet? Because they were, of course, thinking the worst because it's been a long time, but somebody just kind of took it in. But yeah, anyway, so back to the pendulum. And yeah, start out asking those, low pressure questions. Like, should I leave this person? Should I quit my job? Like, don't do those kinds of questions. Like, do the yes and no. Like, is my name Frank? Like, like those types of things. Like, yeah, that's a good place
Yeah,
to start.
right into the deep end.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
Warm
good
up to
idea.
those. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. Was there any other thoughts that you wanted to talk about pendulums? I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think it's just, important to be clear on your intention with your pendulum when you buy. Like, even if you feel called to write your intention with it and just like sit with it, because it is a tool that you're going to use. It's almost like, I feel like it's like not like an apprentice, like somebody is coming in to help you. So I feel like you really need to be in tune with that energy and have good intentions behind it, even if you're just playing around with it. I think it's still something to, be mindful of. And another really important thing is to always ground yourself before you use a pendulum. I find it's like, because that's a great way to start. Before you do any kind of energy work, it's always great to ground yourself first. So, and yeah, I think that's it about pendulums. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, hopefully you learned something. I mean, Christy and I did when we were getting into some background history about it. So super fun stuff. And if you use it, or if you have a different way that you use it, or fun things, like let us know. Come at us in the Reiki circle. That's always a fun place to learn things like that too. And yeah, just hit us up on Instagram otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd love to hear your experience around them, or if you have any tips or anything you want to share with us. Yeah. Let us know.
Mm-hmm. All right. And to end this episode, Christy is going to grace us with a message for the listeners, leaving the listeners on this Christmas holiday, last half of December.
Yes, that's right. And, I wasn't too sure if I could do this because, my crown's been a little closed off, but I did a meditation last night and I was little things were coming through and I was like, okay, I feel like I have enough connection here to be able to deliver a card reading here. So the first card, and it's funny, these cards I feel like are for me. It's like I'm being called out right now, but maybe somebody else will resonate with this message. But I'm using what is this one? Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. And there is a card in here called the Crumbling. And it reminds me so much of the Tower card, the dreaded Tower card in tarot. But yeah, of course, I pulled this card and it says, like, what are you clinging on to? And I feel like that's something else that I need to ask myself as I'm moving through, this sickness. There's something that is still hooking me in that I'm clinging to that I cannot let go of. So when things are breaking down, when they're built on shaky ground, they're going to crumble eventually. And then when that happens, we're going to be brought clarity on that other side. But when the crumbling happens, it's very uncomfortable. And it's like we cling on to, old habits or people that are toxic or different situations when we get scared and the ground shakes below us or the rug gets pulled out from under us. So it's just important to know that when you're moving through something and that ground feels shaky, it's easy to fall back into those comforts. But what Spirit is saying is it's important to keep moving forward in the progress that you've made. Don't fall back because of one crappy situation. And then the next card is Protection. So it's call back your power, cut the cords. And I feel like, around, I don't know why this is really interesting. I feel like this would be a message around Halloween, but now I'm getting the message. Okay, so Christmas time is, of course, a time that is full of a lot of magic, but there's also, you swing the pendulum to the other side, and there's also a lot of sadness around this year. People are reminded of maybe loved ones that aren't there with you during this special time, or things that you went through, or sometimes people look at the year and they think about all these different things that they went through, and maybe it wasn't the year they planned. I feel like there also is a lot of sadness that can come. And then also, if you're out shopping during this time, the malls are crazy. And I just feel like it's extra potent to clear your own energy and cut your cords, no matter where you're going. And even around family, like sometimes when we get together with family that we haven't seen in a while, or somebody triggers us or something like that, it's always so important to cut our cords after that experience. So just be mindful of your energy, I can get caught up in the Christmas spirit and just walk out the door and forget to put my little protection bubble around myself. So it's just important to not put your daily practices on the wayside this month. Just finish strong is what I'm hearing. And the last card here is you're already doing it. Stop thinking, keep facing your true north. And the interesting thing about this is I feel like there is people that are maybe starting on their journey and they're playing the compare game. And the message is to look after your own garden. Focus on what you want to bloom in your own garden. Don't be looking at the neighbor beside you with the beautiful roses and the petunias or whatever the heck they're growing over there. We don't know what journey they went through to plant those seeds and for those flowers to grow. And that's their journey. Let's focus on our journey and our garden. So what do we want to plant and what do we want to grow? And right now, I feel like, it's also not the time to plant and grow as we do go into the winter time. But what I'm hearing is it's going to be mindful to go back into the soil, which is really interesting. So go back into the darkness is something else that I'm hearing. It's like, well, that doesn't sound fun, but I feel like, we need to sit with ourselves and sit in our own garden and what is important to us and listen to our heart and listen to our soul and just get quiet. I also feel like around Christmas time, it's very hectic. There's a lot of people around. And if you're an introvert or an empath, just, be mindful about your self-care practices at this time because it's just push, push, push. And it's like, this is a time of rest and hibernation. So I know it's not always possible to just, X everything and just like lay in the tub for 3 hours at night. It's like, but find that balance, find the balance between the darkness and the light as we move through this season. And, when the winter solstice comes, we're bringing that light back. So the days are going to get longer. Yes, more light. So I always look forward to that. I know that if you're in Saskatchewan, you're in the midst of the winter, it's like it's hard to get through, but just know that that light is coming. And that's something that, you know, always brings me hope when we move into this this time of year, because it can be a little difficult to move through. But yeah, okay, I feel like that is it.
Christy, you would have never known that you were feeling unconnected. Those are great. And I could tell that it was just so coming through nice and clear.
Oh, thank you. That felt good. I haven't done that in a couple weeks here. So that felt good. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes. And you're so right about putting up protection. That has been a huge one coming through for myself, messages like for myself and for clients as well. And I know it's like family should be a safe place. Not always. So
Yeah.
have protection around yourself.
Yes.
And do what you gotta do, especially those empaths, right? So great.
Yeah.
Good
Stuff
messages.
those crystals in and do what you got to do to protect yourself. Because it's always a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our episode today. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. We are at Living the Reiki Life.
And you can find me on my personal page, The Birch Soul. I do plan on posting more in January. I know I always say this, but I'm hoping a little creative spark will come and I will share more. Because it's like I find that people are coming to follow me and then it's like, but I'm not posting anything. But just know I will be back.
Yeah, we both suck. Like, but we're going to work on it. I like this. I also too will. Yes. And I am Reiki with Manda. And give us a follow and give us a rating too, if you don't mind. That always helps grow the podcast as well.
Of course.
And we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Hope you have a great holiday season. See you guys.
1, 2,